Good evening, challengers. I want to explain to you how burning fat works, how losing weight works. So how it works is calories in versus calories out. So we can track our calories in, but how do you know what your calories output is? That takes a little bit while to figure out what your calorie output is, because calorie intake you guys can track it, but to figure out what your calorie output is. As long as you're in a deficit, you guys will lose weight if weight loss is your goal. But if your goal is to gain weight, as long as you're in a surplus, you will gain weight. To figure out your calorie output, you got to figure out what it's called TDE, total daily energy expenditure. So 70% of your calorie output is from your BMR. That's called your base metabolic rate. That's how many calories you burn when you be laying in bed and doing absolutely nothing. Then the next most important thing is called your NEAT. It stands for non-exercise activity. If you have a sedentary job where you do a lot of sitting all day, it'll be a lot lower. If you have a job where you stand, you're on your feet quite a bit, you get your 10,000 steps, that's going to have a lot higher effect on you than actually your exercise. 10% of your total calories burnt throughout the day comes from food you eat, the thermal effect of food. So if you eat whole foods, your body's going to burn off of 2,000 calories, your body would burn an extra 200 calories, especially protein and fiber. Protein has a 30% thermal effect compared to other foods, and fiber has 15%. And then 5% of your calories burned throughout the day actually comes from exercise. So it doesn't matter how hard you go in the gym. So on 2,000 calories, 5%, that's only like 100 calories burned in one, and that's in a hardcore workout. So it's very hard to outwork a bad diet. That's why it's a lot more important to lift weights, because lifting weights raises your BMR. So even when you're sitting, you're going to burn a lot more fat than if you were doing a hardcore cardio exercise. And then with your calorie output, you want to start your maintenance as high as possible, because your body will always adjust. If you start at 2,500 calories, your body's gonna, and your maintenance calories was at 3,000, your body's gonna adjust. Because if it didn't, you would eventually die. Because if your body metabolism would never adjust, eventually you would just fade away to nothing, right? So every time you drop it, your body's going to match it. Drop it, your body's going to match it. And the way your body's going to defend against that, you're going to get hungry. Your body's going to tell you you're super hungry. Losing weight is not comfortable. You're going to be a little bit uncomfortable losing weight, but you want to eat these whole foods. Eating a whole plate of potatoes and steak is going to make you a lot fuller than eating a chocolate bar. For some of you, if your calories are at like 1,500 and you're not losing any weight, it might be time for a reverse diet. I don't know if you read my book on reverse diet or not, but because the only thing I can do from there is even lower your calories a bit more. That's why I like to bump up calories first, but not in a surplus, just at a maintenance calories to get your metabolism going again, and then just slowly drop it to just continue losing fat each week till we get so and so low. And then when you lose a lot of fat, your fat cells are like a sponge that you've completely wringed out. Every time you eat, your body just, those fat cells, it will soak up everything. But the longer you can keep the fat off, the smaller those fat cells are going to get, and those fat cells, they disappear. If you ever notice people that want to go on vacation or do a 21-day fix, they go all out 3 to 6 weeks so they can treat themselves when they go on vacation, but then they gained all that weight back and then some. That's how your body works. So it's a lot more important to build daily habits. You'd be a lot better off having treats throughout the whole 6 weeks, build on working healthy habits, and then when you get on your vacation, continue those healthy habits. Just continue, because if you go all out now and then eat on your vacation, eat a lot more, your body's going to soak up all of that plus some. That's why I always see people that come off of keto, or not always, but I should say a lot of time. They're done with keto and then they start going back to their regular diet. That body's going to soak up everything for a while. But if you can reverse diet it, just slowly up your calories. I have that ebook on reverse diet, you guys should read that. You might need to go through a reverse diet, and then you shouldn't gain that back. And the longer you can keep it off, the easier it'll be to keep it off, because your fat cells do shrink and they do disappear after a while. After about a year or two, if you would eat a whole bunch of junk after junk after junk, just keep eating above maintenance, yet your body's going to start making more and more fat cells. Same as when you go all week, you go 5 days a week, you go on a strict diet, and then the weekends you take a diet break, Saturday, Sunday, well, their body's going to soak up everything that it can to get ready for it during the week again. Your body doesn't do it by a day-by-day basis. It averages out through the whole week. It'll know your habits pretty quick. If it knows it's gonna get food on the weekends, it's gonna store all that food over the weekends as body fat, so it can keep going throughout the week. Now, tracking your calories. What you want to do is you want to stay consistent. Tracking is more important than tracking wrong. If you consistently track wrong, you're a lot closer than if you track one time right, one time wrong, always different. Same thing as if you're shooting a gun and that gun was always always aiming left, so now you just aim that gun slightly left, now you're hitting target. But if you're always grabbing a different gun, trying to shoot every which way, you're never going to hit your target. Same as when lean ground beef. If you look up lean ground beef on my fitness pal, you're going to notice there's a whole bunch of different ones. But it doesn't matter which one you use, as long as you use the same one each time. If you use the same one, we're not getting results, you're not burning weight, I can still adjust it accordingly. If you have 300 calories left and one shows you can eat a lot more than the other, and you eat that one just to make it fit, it's going to be very hard for me to know that, right? The consistency is a lot more important than being right or wrong. And so that's why it's hard for somebody to compare calories with me. Like if I'm eating 2,500 calories, somebody else is eating 2,500 calories, I can't compare those 2,500 calories because I have no idea how he's tracking his 2,500 calories or how I'm tracking mine, right? If I use a different ground beef, if I use different potatoes, if I use a different for all my stuff, if we scientifically put all our foods together, I might actually be eating 3,000 when I've only been tracking 2,500, which is this other guy, he might be eating 2,000 while he's tracking 3,000, you know what I mean? If you and your friends are both at 2,100 or one's at 2,100, one's at 2,400, and it doesn't make sense to you, well, I'm just going based off your body response to what you're tracking. The consistency is a lot more important than tracking accurately. Nutrition labels are allowed to be 20% off. When you eat too many processed foods in boxes, that could also be way out. When you add 20% throughout the whole day, that's going to be a lot of calories. That's why when you prepare your own, cook your own meats, make your own potatoes, make your own rice, you can weigh it and then you're going to be a lot more accurate. That's why I was saying, or eat 80% clean and then the rest 20% you can eat what you want, but obviously the more whole foods the better. I like to track macros. That's my method of going because macronutrients forces me to eat a balanced diet and I get enough fats. Fats are really good for your hormones, energy. Proteins are very good for, those are building blocks. They're good for muscles. They keep your muscles, grow your muscles. They're good for your hair, skin. They're good for everything in your body, all your organs, right? And then carbs are good for energy. You need all three.